Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast. I'm Jay Zawoski with Greg Boyson and Mario Tirabassi. Thanks for being with us on this rainy Tuesday afternoon. A lot to get to today. Game 5 is tonight, and I think the series ends. We'll get to that as the show goes on. Patrick Sharp, bless you, has a new job in hockey. We'll tell you all about that. Before we get to the show, make sure you smash that like button on YouTube. Make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube page as well. Podcast listeners, we love you. We adore you. Make sure whatever podcast app you consume the show on, you are following or subscribed there. And if you could take 30 seconds to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, it will be greatly appreciated. And we should give you a reminder as well that our Father's Day sale is going on at the CHGO Locker. It is buy one, get one, 50% off on t-shirts. Take advantage of that deal. It expires on the 18th, but go to CHGOLocker.com again for buy one, get one half off. That runs through June 18th, CHGOLocker.com. And of course, as always, diehards save 20% on everything at the CHGO Locker. So go take advantage of that sale. As we always say, fellas, on CHGO Blackhawks, give it 24 hours and the news will find us. And the news has found us today. The very handsome Charlie Roumeliotis is the first person I saw tweet about the very handsome Patrick Sharp being named Special Advisor to Hockey Operations for the Philadelphia Flyers. So he joins Keith Jones and Daniel Briere, father of Pudwack, in Philly, closer to his home in Connecticut. So congrats to Patrick Sharp. It's kind of our loss that we don't get to see him and hear him on the broadcast anymore, but good for Sharpie. Cool new step in his career.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think, you know, would it have been great to have him stick around and be part of the Blackhawks TV broadcast in some capacity? Absolutely. But I think the opportunity to be closer to home and, you know, probably be in a role that I think he's a little bit more comfortable in. He did the broadcasting. He was good at it. I don't know if he was ever the most comfortable in doing it. Like, you can be good at something that you're still like, you know, not really feeling like, you know, the best at, you know, in your personal belief. But, you know, I think he was good at that. But it always kind of seemed to me that he was a guy that was, you know, destined to kind of be in a front office role. If he wanted that kind of position, and it seemed like that might have been something he wanted to do. He started his career in Philadelphia. As far as I understand, he's going to be kind of in charge of more of the prospect development or overseeing that kind of operation with Philly, who they are going to be going through a rebuild, so that's going to be important. He's a guy that came up, you know, through Philly's system way back when in the early 2000s. Won the Calder Cup during the NHL lockout year with the Philly Phantoms. I believe they were the Philadelphia Phantoms. They're now the Lehigh Valley Phantoms. So I mean, yeah, he's got ties to the area. He's got ties to Danny Briere. You know, played against him for a number of years. He worked with Keith Jones at the, you know, NBC Sports broadcasting when they had the hockey coverage. So he's got ties to the people leading the organization there. So not surprised that, you know, something like this came up for Patrick Sharp, and good for him. I wish him luck.
Yeah, I think it's been fairly obvious that broadcasting, whether it be in the booth, in a studio, is not something Patrick Sharp wants to do full time. You know, just because you're good at something doesn't mean you have the passion to do it. And, you know, some guys crave, you know, being around a team and being on the road. They don't want to ever give that up, so they become broadcasters or coaches. Some guys are just fine staying at home with the family, and Sharpie seems to be that guy. So he's going to get a gig with the Flyers, not far from where he lives. I think, obviously, front office is more what he wants to do, wants to be more behind the scenes and getting his hands dirty with the players themselves. So, if that's what he wants to do, nothing but the best of luck to Patrick Sharp. Did a really good job in the limited role he was in. Great guy. He'll be missed around here, but, I got a feeling it's not the last we ever see of Sharp with the Blackhawks as his career goes forward. We'll see how that works out for him. But, I would imagine if he ever wanted a front office role here as he progresses down this road, as his kids get older and maybe gets a little more, freedom to move around, maybe he'll come back. But otherwise, the Flyers got themselves a great hockey guy, a great player. Obviously, as we listen to him doing broadcasts, very smart hockey mind, knows the game very well, played it at a high level for a long time, so he's got a lot of expertise to give those Flyers prospects that are going to be coming up. And it's a good hire for the Flyers, and we'll see how it goes. Obviously, I think there must have been a relationship with him and Keith Jones, through their broadcasting days. It's we see it all the time in hockey.
Brian Campbell.
A guy gets an executive job, and then he brings in all his buddies. Mm-hmm. It happens on every team. How many ex-Blackhawks got jobs with the San Jose Sharks when Doug Wilson took over? Dirk Graham still scouts for the Sharks. It happens everywhere. Brian Campbell with the Hawks, Colin Fraser with the Hawks. You bring in the people you know and you trust. Darren Pang's coming in. We talked about that last week. He's going to do a great job. He's going to bring some consistency to that broadcast, which is what they need. And I'm sure a lot of people were hoping that Sharp was going to be the guy that when Pang is on doing TNT duties will fill in, but just wasn't in the cards. And
they're going to have to find someone for that role.
I think they'll do Troy on TV like they did last year, and then put Kaylee Chelios in the radio booth, which is great because she does such a good job.
She does do a good job.
Radio.
Yeah,
give her more of that. But we'll see. But as I said last week, with Connor Bedard coming and the Blackhawks starting to be relevant again, 13 of the 16 games Panger leaves from are going to be Hawks games eventually. So we're not going to lose them that often.
Right.
Yeah. Just a couple of things to clarify, too. This happened after the Darren Pang hire, so the Pang hire was not in response to Sharp leaving. And also, from what I understand, and I believe this, too, Sharp did not leave because of Darren Pang. This was a different opportunity to be in a front office, to be closer to home, which is, like we've been saying, why he was never the Hawks' full-time color analyst anyway.
Yeah.
He didn't want that sort of commitment. So there's no shenanigans in here. He's not mad about anything. Nothing like that. I saw Windy City Hockey said, why didn't the Hawks just hire him? The reason is because he doesn't want to live here full-time.
Yeah.
Right? He wants to be close to home.
Full-time, he would have been the full-time play-by-play guy.
And I also think at some point, your points are correct about, Colin Fraser and Brian Campbell and maybe down the road Sharpie. Just because you wore the sweater does not obligate the team to hire you to do something.
Right.
I think that's everybody. Well, just give him a job with the Hawks. Our front office is now 700 people deep.
Right, yeah.
Jim Cummins is our director of player personnel, assistant vice principal.
When does Everett Sanapass become a
right
a special assistant to the traveling secretary?
Right. At some point, they're not obligated to just give jobs to everybody who ever played.
No. I mean, you look around the league. Guys are GMs. Pat Verbeek is the general manager of the Anaheim Ducks. He never played for them. Played for a lot of other teams. It's kind of like the whole thing with players are going to eventually want to go play for their hometown team.
Right.
But in this day and age, guys play for so many teams in their career. Do they do it so they guarantee themselves 6 or 7 jobs when they retire?
Yeah, there you go. I'm going to be a journeyman. That way I'm sure I got a job.
Yeah, I get a job no matter where I land. But, hockey is a very small, tight-knit community, and it's very hard to not get yourself some sort of hockey job.
Yes.
If you want it.
That's Peter Laviolette.
Yeah.
We'll talk about him in a minute. It's very hard to get yourself kicked out of the club once you're in the club. You pretty much have to say, I don't want to be in hockey anymore.
Did you see the tweet the Hawks sent to the Flyers after they made the announcement? Greg,
yes.
I put in your
Greg
Braggs. I put in your DMs on Slack. It is a picture of Patrick Sharp holding the Stanley Cup on the ice in Philly, saying, "Best of luck, Sharpie. Enjoy making more memories in Philly."
Nice. I love a little pettiness amongst the teams. And by the way, you mentioned his name earlier. Congratulations to our guy Charlie for now being the most handsome guy covering the Blackhawks.
Yeah?
He now takes that role outside of the three of us. Right.
Yes,
outside of non-CHGO member covering. Yeah. He's definitely the most handsome.
I mean, it's not a high bar to clear.
No.
But, yeah, now Charlie's like, with Sharpie out of the way. It's all mine.
He's finally going to get the recognition.
Well, whatever. It's the off season. We'll talk about it. It delights me that Charlie has puck bunnies at the Fifth Third Arena. There are girls there to see Charlie.
Yeah. For sure. I get it.
Great. He denies it. I'm like, they're here for you. He's like, no, they're not. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, they giggle every time he walks by.
Yeah, they're here for you.
Good, I see it. Us sitting on the front row at the press box, you see it all the time. Women of all ages standing up and looking in the press box and go, "Oh, there's Charlie."
Yeah, they're not looking at us.
They don't go, "Oh, there's Greg from CHGO." They're like, "Hey, Greg, get out of the way so we can see Charlie."
Move your giant heads. They should got to have like a Charlie little spotlight in the press box,
Sure.
just to highlight where he is. L Pete 20 says Ben Pope slander is uncalled for. Yeah, Ben's well. Maybe this is a nice Top Shelf Tuesday. We'll rank the handsomest members of the Blackhawks media. It'll be the shortest show we've ever done.
Also the lowest rated.
Hey, you never know. Lebowski 5 suggests James Black as the new player development coordinator.
Sure.
Girl number 38, him of the very curly mullet. That's a throwback name for old heads like me.
It was Jim Cummings, though, you mentioned. He's the one that had like the Civil War handlebar mustache, right? Am I thinking right? Was that Jim Cummings? Did he have that?
Yeah, he would occasionally have the
beard,
like
but with no, the reverse goatee.
Yeah. And Bex is calling me out. She said, "Are we using the phrase puck bunnies now? Is that bad?"
I don't know.
I honestly don't know if that's an inappropriate term. I apologize, but
I mean, it's.
I've always thought of it like groupies.
Yeah. That's.
Is it derogatory?
I mean, it can be if you want to be offended by it. But people use that term.
Oh. Yeah, I just meant like girls that think Charlie's cute that like hockey.
Yeah.
All right.
Groupies.
If there's more negative to it, let me know and I'll not say that.
Yeah, I honestly don't know.
Bex says I love that. I'm not talking about you, Bex. You're a hockey fan. You're a hockey fan. There's differences. There are groupies and there are hockey fans.
Yes. Not all female fans are puck bunnies.
Correct.
But there is a segment of the female fandom and probably male fandom that want certain things.
Of course.
You have that with any industry. No, not all female fans are
of course
puck
not.
bunnies.
Of course not. Of course not. And rock bands have groupies. It's fine. Mm-hmm. Whatever you're into.
The only
There's no shame in it.
Outside of Charlie, sports writers do not have groupies.
Yeah.
Not that I know of.
Sports writers are groupies for Bruce Springsteen and Jason Isbell.
Sports writers have different forms of groupies. If you ever wade into our replies on certain days or the replies of people like Mark Lazarus, you'll see the groupies out there.
Well, those aren't groupies by what I know groupies are. Those are people
the biggest fans.
People that need hobbies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, so Patrick Sharp going to Philly.
Yes.
And yeah, look, I feel like the former players, guys that have ties to, people that are in upper management positions, when they get these like special advisory roles, like it feels like only a matter of time before eventually they get some sort of actual director of player operations or assistant GM, or eventually it becomes a pipeline to doing something more in the front office. And I would not be surprised if Sharp, he seems like a guy who would be easy to kind of funnel into that position down the road as he gets more experience in a front office role, gets more experience in some sort of, managing, people and players and things like that, gets the ropes of an NHL front office. I feel like that's his future, whether it's in Philly or elsewhere. And I don't think the Blackhawks, they already have 6 assistant GMs under Kyle Davidson. I don't think the Blackhawks to just say just give him a front office position. Sure, you can make up positions if you want, but I think he probably wanted, if he was going to get a front office role, something actual, not just a title, but an actual, like, I'm going to do something, I'm going to manage something, I'm going to oversee something like that. So, yeah, I mean, it'd be cool if it had happened in Chicago. It might down the road, who knows? But it's fun to see a guy that had success here in Chicago, had a lot of success in his NHL career, get the opportunity and see what he's going to do moving forward.
Yeah, I just same thing with the broadcasting, as I wonder about his desire to, and like Greg said, like, what is his level of desire to be a full-time NHL person?
Yeah.
Does he aspire to be Kyle Davidson, or is he happy where he's at now? Like, is this what he wants to do? And say, hey, you know what? Spend time with my family, and I'll help out where I can help out, but I'm just not interested in being this 24/7 Kyle Davidson, Kyle Dubas type guy. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it goes, and kind of like you said, as his children get older, and they get, they move on or whatever, go to college or whatever, then maybe he'll change his mind. But it's interesting. Everyone talks about how he feels about like the full-time commitment, but he's never really talked about it.
Yeah.
I never heard him flat out say, like, this is what I'm looking to do.
I think you just kind of connect some dots, because when he was with NBC, when he was doing the Blackhawks gig, like when he's popped in from time to time on TNT, it's all been spot work. It's all been part-time stuff.
Right.
It's never been like Patrick Sharp is our full-time studio analyst or anything like that. So I think people are connecting dots that maybe it's not something he's interested in since he hasn't done it yet, but has the ability to do something in that. Like if they had said Patrick Sharp is now our full-time analyst for the Blackhawks TV group instead of Darren Pang, like I think everyone would have been super excited because he's really good at it. It's not like, it's not like he's in a position where he needs to still learn, or, he's uncomfortable or anything like, or, visibly uncomfortable in the role. Like he's good at doing the role. I just don't know if he ever wanted to do it full time. And maybe this is a similar situation where, yeah, maybe he doesn't want to, be 24/7 day to day in and out of the office kind of thing like that. Maybe it is something where he kind of more or less likes to pop in, pop out, have some responsibility, but not necessarily be the guy.
Yeah,
Who knows?
I would imagine if he's going to be more on player development side, it's going to be you're there for training camp and your prospect camp stuff, and then you pop in at the AHL team once a month. Their affiliate's not far from Philly.
Yeah.
So, and then you just, you talk to scouts, whatever it is. And yeah, I'd imagine it's not a, got to be in the office 5 days a week,
right? Yeah.
16 hours a day
In every meeting.
Yeah. I'm going to assume that this role is kind of like his broadcasting duties, where it's not an everyday commitment, because it's obvious that that's not what he's looking for. But maybe this turns into something a little more concrete. Maybe he just wants to be the Chris Kunitz and just make the passes at practice.
That's fun. Yeah.
I want that job.
I would do that job.
So the Lehigh Valley Flyers play like near Allentown, right?
Yeah.
Which is northwest of Philly. So it's not closer to Connecticut, but it's technically probably not farther either.
It's closer than Chicago.
That's true.
So
it's definitely closer than Chicago.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I'm happy for him. It's a good thing for him.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wonder if the team now, because Colby's gone and Sharp is gone, I wonder, and we thought maybe Sharp joins the studio group. I wonder now, since he's out, they have Darren Payne coming in and Colby's also gone, I wonder if they still find someone to bring into the studio. Chris Chelios, we know is available. If he's interested, I think that would make a lot of sense. But it'd be interesting to see what the broadcast group does for their studio group, or maybe a third person on the TV broadcast. Who knows?
I think they do need at least one more hire now.
Yeah,
with Colby, maybe without Colby, you could say, okay, we got Sharpie if we need him, but now you're down 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that they'll bring somebody in. I mean, Chelios is sitting right there.
Yeah, makes the most sense, especially if it's going to be a role where it's just like every now and then come in and not like a full-time commitment. They'll probably they might lean on guys like maybe lean on Scott Darling more for their studio crew, and then have someone come in part-time on a spot basis or anything like that. Maybe they utilize Kaylee Chelios a little bit more.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I would love to see put Kaylee in Colby's role. Have Darren and Chris in the booth. Put Kaylee in between them.
Yeah.
Between the benches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like she's for as little experience as she has, because she worked in Tampa.
Yeah,
she was working in Tampa for a while.
But she is like from her first year to now. She was always good, but now she's really, really good. And I think she's gotten, you could tell that crew has a good rapport. They all get along. They hang out together. We see them together all the time up in the press box. Like there's a good camaraderie with them.
Yeah.
She's a peer of the players age-wise, pretty close to it. And I think she's earned the trust of the team.
Yeah.
I think her Kaylee between the benches would be great. But then again, you have to definitely hire another studio analyst.
Yeah.
You can't knock down all these studio analysts.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, or you
not
just
replace
skip
them.
the between the benches spot for now. Like, does that make or break your?
No, but it adds.
It definitely adds.
It adds a different element.
But not every team has that. But I would like to see that. But Chris is the obvious. I mean, he's a Chicago guy. He still lives here.
Yeah.
His daughter and grandkids are here, so it makes sense if he wants to do the studio part because he doesn't have to travel.
Yeah.
To do the studio, you're here for
Doesn't
82 games.
Doesn't have to go to Connecticut.
Yeah, so that makes sense. We'll see if that happens. It seems like it's almost too good for it to actually, you know what I mean? Where you're like,
It's too easy.
kind of like, hey, look at Arlington Park and the Bears. It's just perfect.
Oh, no, it might not happen now.
And then they've managed to McCaskey the hell out of that deal. But anywho, that's a different show coming up at 4:00.
Bears to Waukegan.
Yeah, whatever.
Might as well put them in Wisconsin.
Got a $5 super chat from John. Says, do you guys think a move for Alex Turcotte could be possible? Because he's from Chicago and he probably needs a change of scenery.
It's possible, but not for those reasons. They're not the Kings are not going to go, well, you're from Chicago, let's send you home, kid. But I don't think the Kings are ready to move on from Alex Turcotte just yet.
Not for a hefty return.
Yeah.
You don't just get rid of young centers that you took in the top 5 of a draft for nothing.
Right. I mean, you look what the Hawks got for Kirby Dach. They got the number 13th
and
overall.
66th overall picks.
They got 2 pretty good picks for him.
Yeah.
So the Hawks have the ammo to pull off a deal, but
if they wanted to give up 19 and one of their thirds or one of their late seconds to the Kings, you could do it.
But don't.
But just because you can,
I wouldn't give
doesn't
up
mean
19
you should.
for Alex Turcotte. I wouldn't.
Not in this draft.
I haven't seen enough from him yet, and his ability to stay on the ice scares me.
Yeah,
it's just kind of like Kirby Dach.
Yeah,
one of his biggest issues was staying healthy, and
until he does it
once
consistently.
Yeah, because he had problems staying healthy in Montreal tue. He got off to that great start, and then guess what? The second half of the season he was hurt. So it was. Sure, it could happen. I just don't think the Kings are ready to move on for him, especially, they got cap issues coming up. It was all getting those all the things they did to basically clear cap space in that wacky deal with the Flyers and the Blue Jackets. They gave up. They gave up things, got nothing in return, so they can give Gavrikov a 2-year deal. So I think they probably want to keep young, cheap talent around if they can.
Makes sense. How you keep refilling your system. That's for sure. Michael said, what about bringing back Steve Conroy? That whole thing is kind of weird. Like, he just kind of went away, and then he's been doing some college stuff. We saw him at Notre Dame when we were there.
Yeah, he does it. He's on the HL Network quite a bit.
I felt like him and Foley didn't jive.
I never had a chance to meet Steve Conroy.
Super nice guy.
Seems like a super nice guy.
Yeah.
I just know as a fan, he just did nothing for me as a broadcaster.
No,
just very C, just a C grade as a broadcaster.
Replacement level.
Nothing wrong with him, but did nothing for me.
Yeah, I thought again, I like Steve Conroy as a person. Seems like a great guy, and he's very smart at hockey. He knows what he's talking about.
For sure.
But there were different levels. Like the Foley Edzo broadcast, you knew it was going to be a little more on the entertainment side, where when Conroy was in the booth, Foley got brought down a little bit because Conroy didn't have that booming personality. He's kind of boring. He's boring in the booth.
Foley didn't exactly go out of his way to hide the fact that he did not love being with Conroy either.
No.
There were moments where you could clearly hear Pat was either annoyed that maybe Steve was talking too long, or like Pat did not care to hide the fact
they didn't have a soft serve ice cream shtick between the two of them or anything like that. So, I mean, I wouldn't hate that, but I don't think that's an option. I mean, the Hawks are known for bringing old players back to play, not to broadcast.
That's the old regime.
Yes,
the old regime did that, not this one.
Well, you also had Jamal Mayers for a while.
Yeah,
and then
McLevin says bring back Jammer.
And he left.
I like Jamal Mayers.
Is he with the Blues broadcast now?
He might be. Actually.
I feel like that's where he landed.
I know he was doing some NHL Network stuff.
Yeah.
Jamal Mayers was the best dressed Blackhawks analyst of all time. That's for sure.
Yeah, he had that title for sure.
Yes.
What were you gonna say, Jay?
I'm not gonna say it because I don't know if I'm thinking the right thing. So.
Okay, gotcha.
Windy City Hockey had a suggestion too, right there under Kevin's comment, but I can't read it. You scroll down. There we go. Stu Grimson. Now that's one I would get.
That's
behind.
one. Yeah,
I like Stu.
We've mentioned him a lot.
But he's also a lawyer.
He popped in from time to time on the Blackhawks broadcasts. He did NHL Network work, and then he's also a lawyer.
He's also a practicing full-time lawyer, so that probably pays better than
you would think.
Maybe.
But he works at night. You know, games are at night for the most part.
You know, Stu does a great job. I remember like the first couple times he was on NHL Network, I was like, oh my God, that's Stu Grimson. He's really good at this. Like, not a guy that like you thought had the personality for that when he was a player. But they got options. If for all we know, it's going to be somebody we never even thought of. That who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
Maybe it'll be Chris Kunitz.
Maybe Jeremy Colleton comes.
Someone
back
in the chat said have Taves do it. I'm sure he would love that.
I'm sure the first thing he wants to do when he retires is broadcast the team he just left.
He does not
sounds
want
exactly
to be,
like he wants.
He's always very chatty too.
Jonathan Taves does not want to be part of the media.
He loves a microphone in his face. That's for sure.
He I don't want to say despises the media because that's a harsh word.
No.
But he's just not a fan of talking to media.
Doesn't seem like it. Well, I think probably because the last two seseasons have not been the most fun.
I mean, it's much easier to talk to the media when you're winning and
you're having a good time.
I just don't think he wants that. Taves wants.
He seems like Sharp.
Yeah, Taves is going to be a guy that will want to get into coaching. I think.
Yep.
He's got that coach's mentality.
The Sakic or Yzerman route feels like what Taves wants to do because he idolized those guys. Yeah. And he's got the similar kind of mind for the game.
Yeah.
Where he breaks it down analytically that way, and seems like he would make eventually, if he wanted to do it, would make a pretty good front office person.
Yep, I think Patrick Kane will be a front office guy too because he's got that. Savant brain.
GM type.
He's got the GM gene for sure.
Yeah.
A couple of people say, "What about Jeremy Roenick?" That will not happen.
That won't happen, unfortunately.
And Beck says, "Just get Dylan Strome to retire and do media in Chicago full time." See, that's the way.
I'm for it.
Get Dylan Strome. He's a former Hawk. He has to work for the team.
He's an active.
You
player.
must pay everyone who ever wore your jersey.
Yeah.
Fine. Somebody else said it.
When Strome retires, we'll bring him.
Somebody else said it. Christopher Stieg. I'd love Christopher Stieg.
Yeah, he was
Chris
good.
Dubio said
as long as he's not rapping.
No, he has to rap.
No.
That's part of the deal.
When he started that at the parade, I was like, please don't. Oh, God, it's worse than I imagined.
I loved Christopher Stieg so much. The rapping just was the cherry on the ridiculous sundae.
It's like, I'm good at this, and I'm going to do it in front of all these people without shame.
And I'm also 19 beers into my day.
You were him.
Yes.
Fair enough. It could be why you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
No, I think Steger would be a great job. He did a little bit of stuff with Sportsnet, and there were a couple times they had him and Kevin Bieksa on the same panel.
Yeah.
And they would be chirping each other through the whole time.
And Bieksa is good, too. I hate to admit it, but he does a good job.
Really
he
good.
is very good, yeah.
Peen.
Yeah, I mean, peen of a player, good broadcast.
Yeah. I mean, if he was a Hawk, we all would have loved him probably.
Oh, he'd be at half the 300 level be full of his jerseys.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely some positions that could be open in the broadcast booth, but we'll see what they do. And a lot of people are putting in, people in the broadcast world that are like play-by-play or color analysts, like more or less would be looking for probably someone on a part-time studio gig. It's not like we're trying to, fill the shoes of Eddie Olczyk again or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like it's more of a lesser role where, kind of feels like a former player would fit.
Probably it's more of a development role. It's the first step to a bigger thing as opposed to
Or like, hey, do us a solid, show up 20 times in a season, wouldn't be too big. So I don't think you need to shoot too high to find someone who would potentially be interested in doing that.
Yeah. When you had your 19 beers, were any of them Goose Islands?
Probably. I don't know.
There's a good chance of that because
I have enough. I could have had 19.
Yeah, there's plenty of variety in the Goose Island lineup, and they've been Chicago's beer since 1988, and they are the proud beer sponsor of us here at CHGO. And any of those 19 beers you had could have been maybe a Goose IPA, the 6-time medal winner at the Great American Beer Fest, or maybe a Tropical Beer Hug, the dry-hopped Imperial IPA that is a 9.9 ABV, or could have been a Full Pocket Pils, the everyday beer, what the Goose Island beer brewers are drinking, or if you were celebrating the championship, the golden championship of hockey or basketball, shout out to the Denver Nuggets. Yeah. You could grab a golden can of 312, the staple of the Goose Island beer roster. And if you're in Chicago, you can grab an ultra-fresh brewery-exclusive beer at the Goose Island Original Brew House on Clybourne Avenue in Lincoln Park, or you can head to their tap room on Fulton Street in Westtown and always get a delicious Goose Island beer from there. Again, that is the Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer.
Speaking of beer, I went to college at Lewis University.
Hey, nice.
I
beer.
did. I drank a lot of beer at college.
Beer in college, yeah.
And at Lewis University, many of our students, and I can say our.
Yes.
Because I'm an alum.
Lewis alumni.
Many of our students are adults just like you. Many have full-time jobs and or families. All of them chose Lewis's supportive educational community to help make their transition back to school as easy as possible and earn a respected degree. Well, it was respected before I got one. But they're building back up. 35 miles southwest of Chicago in Romeoville, Lewis is ranked as one of U.S. News and World Report's top-tier colleges. They partner with numerous employers for tuition discounts and offer evening, online, and blended formats to help you balance work, family, and education. Faculty bring real-world experience and instruction to the classroom. I was adjunct at Lewis for a while, which is immediately relevant to your career. They offer career support and academic resources for all adult students, whether you're looking to complete your bachelor's or master's degree or enroll in a professional certificate program. Lewis has the right program for you. Lewis offers several career-focused programs that will set you up for success. We're going to name just one here because there's a huge list. The Lewis program in criminal justice and public safety. First responders receive 20% off tuition discount, and tuition is deferred for 6 weeks after the end of each class. I know a lot of alums of the criminal justice graduate program at Lewis, and they are very successful, very happy people. Adult undergrads, also aviation maintenance technology certificate. Aviation is huge at Lewis. There is a 747 on campus that I saw get delivered. That was cool.
Nice.
That was a cool day. Discover how a degree from Lewis can help you build a better world. Learn more at lewisu.edu/youcandothis. That's YOUCANDOTHIS. lewisu.edu/youcandothis. Come be a Flyer like I am.
Nice.
And Patrick Sharp.
Not a Philadelphia
again.
Flyer. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, Lewis is great.
Lewis University. There you go.
I'm very glad I went there because it ended up with me here.
There you go.
Cut 2, I work at CHGO. Just cut out the 25 years in between.
Quick cut.
Yeah. All right, we got, I'm going to say, one hockey game left. Game 5 tonight.
Yeah, it feels that way.
We don't know Tkachuk's status yet. There is no way in hell, if Matthew Tkachuk is breathing, he is not playing in this game.
Yeah, I don't. And Paul Maurice wouldn't. Of course, he's not going to say.
Declines to reveal.
But I agree. There's no way Matthew Tkachuk is not playing.
They will have to tie him up and lock him in a cooler.
Yeah.
To keep him from playing his game. But
yeah, if he can walk and breathe and see, I think he'll try and play in the game.
2 of those 3.
Yeah, at least.
But they were saying, like, before the last game in warm-ups, like, he could barely get any mustard on his shots. Like, his shoulders just... Elliot Friedman speculated that it's either separated or he's got a broken collarbone, which are 2 of the worst things to play with.
Listen, if he has a separated shoulder, I've never had that.
I have. It sucks.
Yeah. I can't imagine playing hockey with it. I can't imagine playing hockey. I broke my collarbone once before. I cannot imagine playing hockey, let alone skating on ice without any equipment on and without anyone trying to take my head off with a broken collarbone. Like, oof. If that's the case, 1, that's insane, and 2, that's when I feel like someone on the medical staff has to sit Matthew Tkachuk down and say, you're not doing this.
Yeah,
like
good luck with
that. That is, I know.
I
but
agree.
also that is absolutely insane.
Like, at what point are you now no longer helpful to the team?
Broken collarbone, separated shoulder.
Even when he was healthy in those first couple games, how helpful to the team has he been this series?
Yeah,
he
I mean,
been great.
Yeah,
he had a couple goals, but
he had the goal to force overtime in Game 3. But yeah, I mean, it's just Vegas has just seemed the superior team throughout the series, and Matthew Tkachuk at 50%, I don't think puts Florida over the top.
No, they don't have the depth to match up with Vegas when they're 100% right now, and it certainly feels like this season ends tonight. I don't want it to, because I don't want. And we've seen. I mean, we all wrote off the Panthers when they were down 3-1 to the Boston Bruins.
Yeah.
But I think Vegas is a better team than the Bruins. Just deeper, and they play a better team game than the Bruins.
They're just so freaking disciplined.
That's
like,
been
and
key.
I don't mean not taking dumb penalties or getting goaded into the stuff that the Flyers have goaded the other teams they've played into. Well, maybe not Carolina so much, but Toronto and Boston. But just they play in an organized, and they're so well coached, and it's just it is a business trip for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You know, this whole thing has been like great. Like, Florida's getting all the accolades, beautiful. We love it.
Yeah.
Get all your accolades, write the storybook, about the Florida Panthers, and then after 5 or 6 games, we're going to skate away with the cup. Thank you. Come again.
Yeah. I mean, we saw in the Dallas series when Jamie Benn got suspended after Game 3. We're like, oh, that's it, they're done. And then the Stars won the 2 games without Jamie Benn. But that kind of was the wake-up call to the Knights, because they've been virtually unbeatable since that. I would lean towards, the series comes to an end tonight. I don't know. Maybe tonight's the night Bobrovsky finally steals one in this series. He's done it in every other series.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's not been the same guy he was in those other series, but a lot of that has to do with what Vegas is doing too. I mean, they've been screening him so well. The team in front of him has not done a good job of keeping guys out of his eyesight.
Yeah.
And you can't save what you can't see. So how many goals has Vegas scored because somebody's ass is right in his face and he can't see the puck?
Well, and part of it too is part of Florida's advantage early on is that they had been playing in the playoffs for the last quarter of the season, trying to get back in the playoff position. So they came in hot, they came in foot on the gas, ready to go. But now exhaustion has to be setting in for these guys. And I know they had like a week off.
Yeah.
But still, I think just the wear and tear, and it is like it's a war of attrition.
And as you said, the physical play, the after the whistle stuff worked to get other teams off their base. It's not working on Vegas, and it seems to be making them even more frustrated. and just look at the penalty numbers in this series. Yeah. I know a lot of fans are going to say, well, it's because the refs are out to get the Panthers. No, they're making dumb penalties, and Vegas just does not commit penalties. Yeah. They were the least penalized team in the regular season. Yeah. They're the least penalized team in the playoffs. This isn't anything new from them. This isn't anything new from a Cassidy coach team.
Right. It's not a referee bias thing. If you have a team of 18 Matthew Tkachuks and a team of 18 Pavel Datsyuks, one of those two teams is going to have a lot more penalty minutes than the other. Right. That's just how it is. It's a style of play, and I'm not ripping Tkachuk. Part of the reason that he's my favorite player in the league is because he plays over the edge sometimes and is physical and is feisty and gets mixed up and gets teams off their game. But the Knights they're not going for it. Yeah. They're not taking his bait, and it's pissing him off and it's pissing off the Panthers. And now that he is not being able to basically drag the Panthers, him and Bobrovsky, over the finish line like they did for the other series, they're kind of out of answers. Because now I don't think Tkachuk is even capable of doing that.
Yeah. I feel like just the depth of Vegas and the amount of players that have stepped up in this series to help lead the way is just it's the reason that they're in this positions, because Florida, like you said, like it was basically Tkachuk dragging them through, with Bobrovsky playing above what we've seen him play in recent years. And when you kind of come back down to earth for him, and then you eliminate the magic that Matthew Tkachuk had, what are the Panthers? You don't have Alexander Barkov stepping up in the way that you'd expect him to. You're just missing those players that can. Brandon Montour was having a huge postseason, and then where has he been this?
Yeah,
where has he
so
been?
You can say the same thing for Verhaeghe outside of that huge goal, but he's not been.
He hasn't shown up, and it's just on the other side of Vegas, you have Eichel, you have Marchessault, you have Aiden Hill stepping up pretty in just a position Mark that he Stone's probably never expected. Mark Stone has been great,
no spine, and he's setting up guys left and right.
It's a floating torso,
and he's getting on, and he's getting under the Panthers' skin. Mm-hmm. Barbashev has been great this series, but their defense has been they have got such a deep defensive core that I think has been overlooked a lot.
One of the best balanced and just well. Just one of the best assembled defensive groups I think that we've seen all postseason, and it's a big reason why they're here.
Somebody in the chat earlier, I can't remember who it was, might have been Jack, says that Vegas is over the salary cap. Well, so were the 2015 Blackhawks.
Yeah, it's very common.
So were the Lightning. Like it's the way the system is set up, and the Blackhawks took advantage of it too. So you can't be mad at one team when you celebrated a 2015 Stanley Cup championship when the Blackhawks they're not over the salary cap. There is no salary cap in the playoffs.
Right.
So it is what it is. It's a flawed system, and if you can take advantage of it and win a championship for it, good for you.
Tampa Bay Lightning.
You mentioned Barkov. I want to talk about him a little bit. He had his first 2 points of the series in the last game. He had a goal and an assist, 6 shots on goal. Really good game for him. Before that, he had not had a point the entire series, and a total of 6 shots in the prior 3 games. You ask players who the most underrated player in hockey is, and they all say Sasha Barkov. Mm-hmm. And they're right. He's a very good player. At some point, though, I want to see him be like, do the Tkachuk thing. Yeah. And just take over a game.
Yeah.
And you see him defer a lot. You see him pass a lot. You see him with open opportunities that he doesn't take. He could be a Blackhawk. Someone needs to just shake him and be like, dude, shoot. Like, look how good you are. We all agree. Here's the poll from the last 4 athletic articles of underrated player. Everyone says it's you. Show it. Take over. He's got everything he needs. He's huge. He's super skilled.
He has all of the tools, and I don't know if it's just having never been down this road before, where you're playing deep into the postseason, you're playing the Stanley Cup Final, like just not having that experience and that kind of pressure of a situation, or playing Stanley Cup playoff games, which is a different style of hockey, just not being able to adapt to that. Maybe that could be a hindrance to him in his game, and just kind of a learning experience that he that he needs. But he's played in the playoffs before. Like this isn't the first time he's been in the playoffs, but it's the first time he's been this deep. He's gone through these many playoff games. So I wonder if it's just a matter of, he's a big guy, he's a workhorse, he does everything for the Panthers and has the skill set to be a player that takes over games. But I just wonder if maybe just physically this postseason run is caught up to him. Like you said earlier, like maybe it's just catching up to the Panthers now, how physical everything has been, and just not being able to reach that extra level. So if they want to extend the series, and Tkachuk is 50% or not even playing, he's got to be the next guy that has to step up and try and lead. You got the C on your chest for a reason.
Yeah, we'll get the postseason report on the injuries and things, and I'm sure he'll be on that list, and they all will be.
Yeah, there will be 20 players on that list.
Well, as good as Vegas has been, if they win tonight or they win the series, who do you guys like for Conn Smythe?
It might be Adin Hill.
There's a lot of options. Adin Hill has been great. There's no doubt. 211 goals against, 934 save percentage, 2 shutouts. That's undeniably great.
But he only played half the postseason. Granted, the second half of the postseason.
Yeah.
If I had to vote for a guy, now, I've got 2. Who do I think is going to win it, and who do I think should win it?
Yeah.
Who do I think should win it is Jonathan Marchessault.
It's their leading scorer.
He's been so clutch.
Yep.
Who do I think probably will get more votes just because of name recognition and the storyline? Jack Eichel.
Yeah.
Eichel's been really good.
He has, and it wouldn't be.
Yeah, it's not. It's
it
not
wouldn't
unreasonable.
be. I wouldn't hate it. He doesn't. It's not that he doesn't deserve it. He deserves it less than Phil Kessel did in 2017. I'd die on that bet. Kessel got robbed.
Yeah.
So did Corey Crawford in 2015, but or 2013, whatever one it was. Crawford got robbed.
Yep.
But no,
13.
Eichel would deserve it. I wouldn't be mad at that, but I think Marchessault has been the most valuable guy.
Here are the current Conn Smythe odds coming from our friends at DraftKings Sportsbook. This is for Vegas Golden Knights only. Shea Theodore plus 30,000. William Karlsson plus 20,000.
11 goals for Karlsson.
Yeah, he's had a resurgence. Yep. Chandler Stevenson plus 15,000. Mark Stone plus 2,000. Jack Eichel plus 1,200. Adin Hill plus 900. Jonathan Marchessault minus 400.
Wow.
So DraftKings loves them some Jonathan Marchessault.
Yeah, or the bettors
for
love
Conn
him too.
Smythe.
Yeah. That Eichel, what'd you say Eichel was? 1,200?
Eichel plus 1,200. That's a pretty good value.
That might be worth throwing a couple shekels at later.
Put $1 on that. See what
I'm
happens.
gonna do that for sure.
Yeah.
Because if he has like a 2-goal 3-point
If
night or something.
if he has a big game tonight, I think it kind of just seals the
Game 5
storyline.
goes into overtime. Jack Eichel scores the cup clinching goal.
Oh,
they're gonna give it to him.
100%. Yeah.
But you got to remember who votes for the Conn Smythe.
Who does vote for the Conn
It's the
Smythe?
media members.
Ah.
And who wouldn't want to write a story about Jack Eichel getting a Conn Smythe before Connor McDavid's story?
Oh, all
of them. All of us.
All the
All of
Canadian
us.
haters
Yes,
would love
would
it.
love to write that story about Jack Eichel's redemption and how maybe in a redraft, Eichel goes before McDavid.
Nope. That would not happen. Absolutely not.
You know somebody at a certain website is ready to write that article.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Does it rhyme with Serrano ton? Yeah.
That
would be quite the storyline ending for this playoffs. But I think if Adin Hill has a huge, it really probably comes down to who has a big game tonight if they win it, because as much as the odds are a bit different, obviously favoring Marchessault, you're not going to have a wrong choice in either of those three if it is Vegas that wins.
I think they're looking for every excuse to give it to Eichel.
Yeah.
Marchessault, he would get my vote if I had a vote.
Well, and think about Marchessault doing it, having the playoff run that he's had and then having the final that he has against his former team.
Team that traded him
willingly to protect. Who was it to protect? Was it?
I can't remember it.
Was it Ekblad or?
It was.
They traded somebody so Vegas wouldn't pick him.
They gave them both Marchessault and Riley Smith.
To
to ensure that they didn't draft somebody else, somebody who's probably not even on the team anymore.
I can't remember who it was. I feel no, because Ekblad probably wasn't exposed in the draft. I can't remember who it was, but it was somebody prominent on the Panthers at the time. And yeah, I think, like you said, I don't think that they're actually still on the team. But yeah,
I take it back. Marchessault was the actual pick.
Was it Riley Smith that they traded?
They traded Riley Smith for a 4th-round pick. So they left Marchessault exposed. So he was the actual expansion draft pick from.
Well, either way,
I thought it. I must be. I think I'm thinking of the Ducks when they traded Shea Theodore, so they wouldn't pick. Was it Josh Manson or was it Clayton Stoner? I think it was Clayton.
I think it was Clayton Stoner.
Whoopsie. Whoops. So yeah, there were a lot of those deals made for Vegas. That's how they got to be so good right out of the box, and the fact that the league changed the rules of the expansion draft on that as well. So
I like they just change rules. Like, oh, that was stupid. Let's change it now, mid-flight.
No, they definitely allowed Vegas and Seattle to have a more efficient expansion draft.
Yeah.
And speaking of efficiency,
the
ComEd Energy Efficiency Program is committed to helping families and businesses in the communities they serve, helping manage energy usage and lower energy bills now and into the future.
Yes, Greg. ComEd offers a wide variety of incentives on lighting and other efficiency upgrades to commercial, industrial, and public sector customers of all sizes across their territory. ComEd also offers free facility assessments that can help find energy-saving opportunities, like for HVAC systems, commercial kitchen equipment, or industrial processes.
Jay, I've been missing for the last couple of days. Can you refresh my memory on how that works?
Yes. An authorized engineer will work with you, Greg, to develop a detailed assessment plan specific to your goals and needs. These can be done in person or virtually and last approximately 2 hours. Within 3 to 4 weeks, customers will receive a report detailing energy efficiency projects that they can start working on immediately. Each recommendation will include estimated energy savings, project cost, potential incentives, and simple payback. If you own a business, like you do, Greg, don't wait. Get started saving money and energy today. For energy-saving tips, lighting incentives, or to schedule your free facility assessment, go to ComEd.com/poweringbiz.
Was that ComEd.com/poweringbiz, B-I-Z?
Yes, it was. Schedule it today.
I will, as soon as this show is over.
All right.
Me too.
And in addition to saving energy, if you want to save extra money and look cool at the same time, you need to check out our buddies, our pals, our good friends over at Shady Rays. They have the gear built to last, which helps you take on the sun. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered for the warm weather ahead with premium Polaroid shades at a very affordable price. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product just as good as any expensive pair we've ever worn. I think they're way too humble. They're better. They're the best sunglasses I've ever had. Durable frames and extremely clear optics for the outdoor adventures. And that's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. You can wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after your purchase. And together with their customers, Shady Rays is providing much needed support to nonprofit partners across the United States through the Shady Rays Impact Program. They're doing everything from building play sets for pediatric cancer patients to providing young adults with MS the outdoor adventure of a lifetime. Shady Rays is making an impact in your communities and others like it for now and years to come. And if you don't love your Shady Rays, but you will, just in case you don't, you can exchange for a brand new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There's absolutely no risk when you shop. And exclusively for our lovely CHGO listeners, that's you, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com. Use the promo code CHGO for 50% off 2 or more pairs of their awesome sunglasses. You can try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people, including me. I'm one of those.
Me too. And Mario, I believe.
Me too.
Yeah, we all got them. Before we wrap up the show, I think we might have some new people checking us out today because, boy, when we tweeted our post-show tweet about changing Chelsea Dagger, which was a Mailbag Monday question, the internet went on fire. Mm-hmm. My God. Just so everyone's clear, Mario and I were like, do what you want. We were simply answering a fan question, but I did not know people were so passionate about Chelsea Dagger, one way or the other.
On both sides of the argument, people that were just vehemently against how dare we even consider changing the song, and people that were like, the song is trash, change it, and nothing in between, except us two.
Yeah, but I saw some people were like, this organization's a joke for even asking the question. We didn't ask it, we answered it. It was Mailbag Monday.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
That's true. But I mean, there's you could change it and you could do it right. If you change it and the song sucks, you could change it back.
Right.
You'd change it, you'd keep it. Just, do whatever you want.
It's okay.
It's fine.
It's a song.
Like whatever happens, it's going to be okay.
The sun will still rise in the next morning if it's there or if it's not. I'm with you guys. I don't care one way or the other. I think it's the perfect opportunity to do it.
Yes.
If you want to move on from the 2010s era, Patrick Kane's not here. Jonathan Tave's not here. Connor Bedard is coming. It's the dawn of a new era.
Mm-hmm. Time to do it. If you're going to do it,
now is the time to do it. If you don't,
sure.
Cool. If you do, cool. Find out what Connor Bedard's favorite song is and make that the goal song.
Well, let's make sure let's not just ask him and then make it that, because it might be something bad.
He seems to have a good head on his shoulders.
You're right about that.
He knows what you know.
It's probably a Train song, if we're being honest, right?
Wonder if he's ever heard of Train.
I'm sure he
I don't
hasn't.
even think he's ever ridden on a train, let alone heard the band.
Hopefully we get
Train.
to ask him in a couple weeks when we're down in Nashville.
That'll be our first question in the media scrum at draft day. Have you heard of the band Train?
And what do you think of them? Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, before we wrap up,
we'll
tell you about our Nashville trip. If you're heading down there, you're going to want to hang out with us.
Bedard.
Hop Smith, we're going to be there Tuesday, June 27th. Hop Smith, Nashville, of course, for a happy hour and meet up before the Hawks make history, selecting player pick number 1. Each ticket includes all you can drink from 1 to 4 p.m.
Hey.
Food and our new draft pick t-shirt when it becomes official. Diehards get 20% off. There's also regular non-diehard tickets available as well. AllCHGO.com is where you need to head for all that information. But again, that's Tuesday, June 27th at Hop Smith in Nashville. You will need a ticket to be part of the CHGO party. Wednesday, we're going to have a bit more of an informal meetup. And we'll let you know as we sort of finalize those details too. But we're going to be down there. We're going to be there when history's made. Hopefully you'll be down there with us. And if you are, take some time, come join us, come meet us at our CHGO Die Hard event. Remember, you're paying for a ticket to this thing. It's unlimited food and drinks from 1 to 4. That ticket's going to be much cheaper than it's going to be for you to pay for beers from 1 to 4 p.m. Yes. That's for damn sure. So
food.
Join us. We'd love to see you out there. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a fun, jam-packed, busy week. It's gonna be a good time. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to working in Nashville, being in Nashville, rubbing elbows with all the people in the NHL that have their elbows out, walk like this. We can rub into them.
Yeah,
it'll be a lot of fun.
I have the draft on my calendar, and I have not imagined anything life-wise after that. Like, it's been summer. I set my life in like a series of moments.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, get through softball. Okay, softball's almost over. Now get to the draft, free agency. Beyond that, I've not thought about anything. Yeah. I have no idea what I'm doing the rest of the summer.
My summer has essentially has 2 categories: before Nashville, after Nashville.
Yeah. Exactly.
BN and AN. Those are so there's times where we're sitting at the house and we're discussing things we want to do, and it's like, oh, that's after Nashville. Let's worry about that when I get home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, the price of that ticket with the non-CHGO discount is $55. Again, that's a CHGO t-shirt, all you can eat and drink for 4 hours.
Yep. And hanging out in Nashville.
I mean, I'm sorry, 3 hours, but still.
Yeah.
That's an awesome time.
Yeah.
Come hang out with us in Nashville
time.
at Hop Smith. AllCHGO.com to get your tickets.
And you're going to be in the first group to ever have that new design that will drop on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
So that'll be a lot of fun.
You'll be part of history too. All right, we're going to be back tomorrow. when the news breaks, we'll cover it. Something's going to happen between now and then. So we'll talk to you at 2 o'clock. Thanks to Greg Braggs for running the show today. We appreciate it. For Greg and Mario, I'm Jay. This has been the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast. You're what?